The sun rose softly over the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and gold. Beneath the ancient banyan tree, Buddha sat gracefully, surrounded by eager disciples. A storm the previous evening had disrupted their journey unexpectedly, leaving uncertainty lingering among them. The air smelled fresh from the rain, yet unease permeated the group as they murmured quietly amongst themselves. Buddha began speaking, his voice steady, yet gentle, resonating deeply with each listener. The nature of life, like storms, is unpredictable and often beyond our control, he said. Imagine a bird, he said, perched high on a branch, gripping it tightly in a sudden storm. I nodded, the image vivid in my mind. As he added, the branch bends and shakes, but the bird suffers most from its grasp. He gestured to a tree nearby, its leaves glistening with raindrops, and its roots deeply entwined within the earth. Observe this tree, Buddha said. It bends with the storm yet does not break, for its roots ground it firmly. His words hung in the air, laden with profound meaning that the disciples began to ponder. The storm challenged its branches, but its essence remained untouched. The disciples exchanged quiet glances, the tension in their postures beginning to relax as understanding grew within them. He gestured to a small bird that flitted fearlessly between branches, untroubled by the wind. Look at this bird, he said. It balances neither by holding nor by releasing, but by adapting to the flow. They teach us to adapt. Like the tree bends gracefully to the wind, a disciple named Ananda spoke hesitantly, his voice tinged with confusion. Master, how do we find inner peace when chaos surrounds us? As the storm did? Buddha regarded Ananda with compassion, his eyes reflecting wisdom deeper than the ocean. Inner peace emerges not from changing the external but from transforming one's perspective and embracing impermanence. As the disciples listened, a gentle breeze moved through the clearing, swaying the branches above. The natural harmony of the moment seemed to echo Buddha's words. Buddha spoke again, his tone steady yet inviting reflection. Resilience comes from grounding ourselves in truth, not clinging to illusions of permanence or control. Buddha stood slowly, walking a few steps to the tree he had pointed out earlier. He traced the bark gently with his fingers. This tree knows its place in the cycle of life. It grows, it shelters, it adapts without resisting change. A disciple named Sariputta asked timidly, Master, is resistance always unwise, even when the change feels overwhelming? Buddha turned to Sariputta, his smile kind but knowing. Resistance to the inevitable is a source of suffering. Acceptance opens the door to liberation and wisdom. The distant sound of birds returning after the storm filled the space briefly, underscoring the sense of renewal unfolding within the group. Buddha addressed the disciples as a whole, his words carrying timeless significance. The storm has passed, yet it has left lessons behind, as life always does after moments of turbulence. He continued, his voice softer yet impactful. Growth is often rooted in challenge. Much like the earth nourishes new life after rain. Embrace unexpected moments with curiosity. The disciples nodded slowly, beginning to grasp the depth of Buddha's wisdom and the universality of his teachings. Chaos is a mirror reflecting both impermanence and opportunity, Buddha said. The greatest growth occurs when we transform discomfort into understanding. Another disciple named Kassapa, thoughtful and composed, added, Master, how do we cultivate this understanding when uncertainty causes fear? Buddha acknowledged Kassapa with a serene expression. Fear stems from clinging to what we believe must remain unchanged. Understanding impermanence dissolves the seeds of fear. The wind shifted direction, rustling the leaves gently, as Buddha's teachings resonated with nature itself. He walked back to his seat, sitting comfortably again beneath the banyan tree. As the storm came and went, so do all circumstances, leaving us wiser if we choose to learn. Buddha closed his eyes briefly, as if connecting his words to the deep wisdom within his own being. The disciples watched him, feeling inspired yet reflective, letting silence fill the spaces between each sentence. Buddha said, "Adaptation is an act of mindfulness, a way to align oneself with the unfolding truth of existence." He opened his eyes again, gazing at the clearing where the rain-drenched foliage seemed vibrant with renewed energy. And in that moment, I understood that the teachings were not answers but keys to unlock the doors within us. Another day, another lesson unfolded under the canopy of the forest, where sunlight danced through the emerald leaves. Buddha said, "When faced with disruption, seek wisdom not through resistance but through acceptance and inquiry. Life offers lessons, not barriers." The gentle afternoon sun cast its rays through the leaves, illuminating small droplets that clung to the branches. "We are all like droplets," Buddha said, "shaped by the conditions around us, yet connected to the whole." Ananda, who had asked earlier, spoke again, his voice tinged with newfound clarity. "Master, the storm seemed frightening, yet your words have made it feel like a teacher. Is fear an illusion?" Buddha turned to him, smiling slightly. "Fear is rooted in perception. It fades when we align ourselves with impermanence and truth." The sound of birdsong returned, filling the moment with a sense of continuity and renewal. Buddha smiled faintly, as though acknowledging the partial truth of the response. Before elaborating, "Indeed," he said, "but also consider the forces beyond his control. The wind, the tension in the string, the balance of the bow. Harmony exists in nature." Even amidst storms, the disciples began to feel more connected to themselves, each other, and the world, through the lens of Buddha's wisdom. Kassapa added softly, "The storm was unsettling, yet it seems now that it held its own sense of purpose and beauty." Buddha nodded, affirming Kassapa's reflection. Purpose often hides in unexpected places, revealed only to those willing to seek it. Buddha paused briefly, allowing the disciples time to internalize the teachings, their faces contemplative yet peaceful. The banyan tree stood firm, a symbol of adaptability and grounding, just as Buddha had described. He spoke again, his tone final yet open. The archer paused, adjusting his stance, his movements deliberate and mindful, a silent affirmation of the teaching unfolding before us. Just as the archer aligns his aim with the bow, Buddha said, "We must align our actions with the Eightfold Path." The storm is gone, but its lesson remains. Cherish the teachings within each fleeting moment of life. Another day, another journey brought Buddha and his disciples to a village stricken by devastation after a terrible fire. The smell of charred wood lingered in the air as villagers gathered, faces etched with despair and hopelessness. The disciples observed silently, their hearts heavy with the enormity of loss surrounding them. Buddha stood calmly among the crowd, his presence radiating compassion and wisdom like a soothing balm. As the sun set, casting golden hues across the sky, Buddha addressed his disciples one final time for the day. "Life is a series of moments," Buddha said, his voice soft yet resolute. His answer, though simple, carried a depth that challenged me to explore the edges of my understanding. "Effort alone," he explained, "is like an archer pulling the bow without aim. Conditions alone are like a target with no archer." He gestured to the remnants of a house, now reduced to ash and rubble, a poignant reminder of impermanence. Just as fire consumes what stands in its path, time takes everything eventually. Nothing is ours to hold forever. A villager named Malika spoke hesitantly, her voice trembling with grief. "Master, how can we find peace when everything we worked for has been destroyed?" Buddha regarded Malika with compassion, his eyes reflecting the depth of understanding. Peace arises not from clinging to possessions but from recognizing they were never truly ours to keep. The villagers exchanged somber glances, grappling with the wisdom that challenged their deeply rooted attachments. Buddha continued, his tone steady yet filled with warmth. Attachments bind us to suffering, yet letting go frees us to embrace the essence of impermanence. He knelt to the ground and picked up a handful of ash, letting it fall gently from his fingers. This ash symbolizes what remains when impermanence takes its course. Acceptance transforms sorrow into a foundation for renewal. A disciple named Ananda asked softly, Master, why does losing what we cherish feel so unbearable at times? Buddha turned to Ananda with a serene expression, his smile kind and knowing. The pain of loss is magnified by our resistance to impermanence. Embracing change dissolves the anguish of resistance. The villagers listened intently, their expressions shifting from despair to contemplation, seeking solace in the wisdom unfolding before them. Buddha said, just as the fire leaves the earth fertile for new life, loss opens pathways for growth and transformation. Another villager named Jaya spoke with a voice tinged by sorrow yet curiosity. Master, is letting go the same as forgetting what was precious to us? Buddha shook his head gently, his presence reassuring. Letting go is not forgetting but acknowledging what has passed while cherishing its memory without clinging. The flame, he explained, adapts to the conditions, finding harmony within them rather than fighting against their nature. I spoke, my voice carrying the weight of my thoughts. Master, how can we be like the flame in our own lives? Buddha looked at me, his gaze steady and kind, as he said, through mindfulness, through seeing the nature of conditions clearly. The oil lamp flickered, as though illustrating the impermanence and fluidity of existence. A living metaphor for his teaching. Each moment, he continued, is a flicker of the flame, shaped by the past yet free to illuminate the present. Buddha stood and addressed the villagers as a whole, his presence grounding them like the roots of a great tree. Loss reminds us that clinging leads to suffering, yet acceptance opens the door to profound liberation. He gestured to a budding flower amidst the rubble, its resilience a testament to life's enduring nature. This flower thrives not despite the fire but because of the nutrients the fire left behind. Renewal always follows endings. The villagers began to feel connected to the world around them, their sorrow mingling with a sense of hope born from wisdom. A woman named Priya asked softly, Master, how do we reconcile our sorrow with the need to move forward? Buddha regarded Priya with compassion, his answer illuminating her question. Sorrow is a natural response, yet healing arises when we transform pain into understanding and purpose. The sound of gentle wind moving through the village underscored the profound sense of renewal spreading among them. Buddha said, impermanence teaches us the art of letting go while embracing the opportunities inherent in every moment of change. His voice, though soft, carried an authority that seemed to echo through the vastness of time itself. Observe the flame, Buddha concluded, for in its dance lies the truth of interdependence, impermanence, and freedom. Impermanence imbues life with beauty, for its fleeting nature enhances the value of each moment. The smoke cleared further, revealing the village bathed in sunlight, an emblem of hope emerging from devastation. Buddha said, just as the sun rises after every night, peace follows acceptance and growth after every loss. The villagers exchanged quiet smiles, their expressions imbued with gratitude for the wisdom Buddha had shared. A disciple named Sariputta reflected aloud, Master, impermanence feels challenging yet comforting when viewed through your teachings. Buddha nodded, gently, affirming Sariputta's insight. Impermanence challenges us to grow, comforting us with its universal truth. Buddha concluded his teachings with a simple yet profound truth, his words lingering like the morning mist. Loss is both an ending and a beginning, guiding us toward renewal when embraced with understanding and courage. Another day. Another encounter brought Buddha and his disciples to a quiet riverside, where a farmer stood weeping in despair. The farmer, his clothes soaked with water and mud, clutched at the earth with trembling hands. He had lost his entire crop to an unexpected flood, leaving his family and livelihood in jeopardy. Buddha approached the farmer, his steps deliberate, his presence imbued with calm and compassion. The farmer looked up, his face etched with sorrow, his voice trembling as he spoke. "Master, why does life punish us in ways we cannot foresee? Everything I have worked for is gone." Buddha knelt beside the farmer, his hands resting lightly on the damp ground as he spoke. "Life's journey is like flowing water," Buddha said. "It teaches us to embrace impermanence with grace." The disciples watched silently, their gazes fixed on the profound interaction unfolding before them. Buddha continued, his tone gentle yet unwavering. "The river swells and recedes, shaping the earth as it flows. Acceptance allows us to adapt to its rhythm. Do not let fear narrow your vision." A disciple, overcome by self-doubt, asked hesitantly, "Master, how can we see possibilities when our minds are clouded by fear?" Buddha knelt and drew a line in the soil with his finger. "What is destroyed in one moment can nourish creation in the next." Destruction and renewal are intertwined within life's cycles. Buddha's wisdom opened their minds to the vastness of life's potential. The hillside, bathed in golden light, became a place of reflection and inspiration for the disciples. Buddha regarded the farmer with compassion, his gaze steady as he responded, "Acceptance is not surrender. It is the courage to face reality while finding strength to begin anew." The river's gentle current mirrored the flow of Buddha's teachings, harmonizing the scene with the essence of his wisdom. Buddha said, "The flood has taken your crops, yet it has left behind fertile soil. From loss springs opportunity for renewal." A disciple named Kassapa, observing silently, stepped forward to ask, "Master, how do we find the strength to begin again after facing such great loss?" Buddha turned to Kassapa, his smile serene yet knowing. "Strength arises from understanding impermanence and trusting in our ability to adapt and persevere." Buddha gestured toward the river, its surface shimmering with sunlight as it meandered gracefully through the landscape. The river does not stop flowing when faced with obstacles. It finds new paths, reshaping its course with resilience. The farmer, still seated on the ground, began to straighten his posture, his despair giving way to a glimmer of hope. Buddha said, "Your loss is a wave in the ocean of life. Each wave, though distinct, is part of the whole." The banyan tree's stillness and strength became a symbol of mindfulness and resilience in their lives. Buddha's teachings had awakened clarity and purpose within their busy minds. Accept what has passed, but do not dwell in sorrow. Focus on what can be created from the present. The banyan tree, deeply rooted and unwavering, embodied the profound truths of life. Another day, another journey unfolded as Buddha and his disciples walked through the quiet hillsides of Magadha. The farmer looked toward the river, his expression contemplative, his sorrow slowly giving way to a sense of clarity. Buddha continued, "Each moment of change is a lesson, inviting us to grow in understanding and resilience. Seek the lesson within." The sound of the river's flow provided a soothing backdrop as the disciples absorbed the profound teachings Buddha imparted. A disciple named Ananda spoke softly, "Master, how do we transform our feelings of despair into a sense of purpose?" Buddha turned to Ananda, his expression filled with warmth and encouragement. "Despair arises when we resist change. Purpose emerges when we embrace it as a path to growth and understanding." The farmer stood slowly, his body still weary, yet his heart lighter, his spirit touched by Buddha's teachings. "Be as the lamp, One disciple, reflecting on the challenges of life, asked, "Master, how can we shine steadily when darkness surrounds us?" Buddha lifted his gaze to the fading stars above. Renewal follows all endings. Like day follows night, the disciples and the farmer stood quietly, their gazes fixed on the river, their thoughts attuned to Buddha's wisdom. Buddha said, "The river flows ceaselessly, shaping the world around it, adapting to obstacles without losing its essence. Be like the river." Buddha concluded his teachings with a simple yet profound truth, spoken with the clarity of the river's current. Life's challenges are waves to be ridden, not feared. Each challenge reshapes us, guiding us toward deeper understanding and harmony. The disciples bowed in reverence, their hearts filled with gratitude for the teachings that illuminated the path through life's unpredictability. A disciple, struggling with doubt, asked quietly, "Master, what if the flame of kindness within us flickers or fades?" Buddha approached the lamp and cupped his hands around its flame. "Protect your flame from the winds of hatred and greed," Buddha replied. "Kindness is nurtured through mindfulness and selfless acts." The disciples watched the lamp's unwavering glow, drawing strength from its silent lesson of resilience. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.